Hello, and my name is Paula Sow, and this is Soundbytes. Finding my way home. A lingering yearning persists, restful sleep no more, just a constant open sore, a lasting longing to be there, to feel that, to fall into the bosom of that loving embrace, a grueling journey, finding my way home. Had they not made such an unadulterated lie of my history, it would have never become such an obsessive journey, unlocking those buried truths, those clues that would awaken the essence, a grueling journey, finding my way home, to that land where kings and queens walk, where my ancestors reigned glorious, where the cradle of all humanity arose, a grueling journey, finding my way home. Once said, you can't miss something you've never had, for it is coded into the depths of my unconscious mind. My people, I want them. Do they want me? Are they aware that I am excavating and toiling daily to be the path to the lap of my fathers, where men stand tall, where children play, where women have strong leaders and are protected every day, where elders happily sing blessing births and marriage rings, a people with one voice praise, a commitment to community, a grueling journey, finding my way home. A rich tapestry of enormous proportions, centuries of that vibration. It runs through this people, my people. I am a constant frequency home. I live a grueling journey, finding my way home. Thank you for tuning into this week's Soundbite. This week I really wanted to talk about that whole finding my way home journey. That poem I wrote to talk about my own journey through self-discovery and coming through the research and the realization of the value in my person. For a person of color, that journey is very necessary. See, but what happens to us, and I often talk about in my poetry, is OJT. We can talk about Beyonce's Lemonade, right? And we can talk about her, what people had been saying looked like some sort of cultic representation, etc. I won't even touch that with a 10-foot pole. What I will say is, as a people, because we are living in real time, and oftentimes I talk about OJT. OJT is on the job training. We are on the job and learning at the same time. It's a journey for us in this self-discovery, and we go through a number of phases. And some of what we go through because we were born into, generally the first stage for most of us is assimilation, because we model the behaviors that we see from those around us. And oftentimes, unless we come from a fabric that is heavily culturally rooted, many of us come up in a society where we just assimilate to the environment. And that means assimilate to the behavior, whether it's good or bad, whatever it looks like. People just don't automatically arrive, persons of color don't just automatically arrive at self-confidence, at a love for our people and an embrace of our culture. We don't automatically arrive in that place. In the society that we live in, we learn very young that there are certain facets of our persons that is tolerated, and then there are other parts of us that are not tolerated. And this is based on certain social norms. And we don't even pay attention to it. It's just so slight nuances of the behavior or the appearance that appears to be socially acceptable or appears to be most favored, right? So inadvertently, we assimilate to that. Oftentimes, our maturation as individuals and as spirit beings and as individuals of intellectual property, we elevate through time. We learn bits and pieces along our journey. And depending on how strong our spirit frequency is and how much we desire it, because there's a saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right? So it depends on how fast you're moving as far as your frequency, what you're radiating. I really am clear on, even I believe it was Jay-Z who even said in one of his rhymes, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. See, I realize Beyonce wears blonde hair and she appears, because none of us are in her head. We don't know what she's going through. And I can tell you as a person of color, it's a fact of the matter, I can tell you for a fact that 99.9% of us at some point in our lives go through that identity conversation. We want to fit in. And even if we don't want to fit in, we want to be happy internally with ourselves. And we live in a society that doesn't necessarily nurture our complete being. So therefore, in order for us to find a place of comfort, we end up on that unbeknownst to ourselves. And sometimes, like myself, I beat a path. I was looking for the information. I was doing the research. Some of us just happen to fall into a space where we just end up, it somehow happens around us, and then it forces us to be a party to that developmental process. It is a maturation of us all, right? And I'm not going to discount Beyonce for her blonde hair or for her, whatever it is that, people criticize her about, as far as the artistic expression that she uses in her videos. Art is a reflection of the time. Don't look at Beyonce's art. If Beyonce's art offends you, look at somebody else's art. Go to the museum and you can watch Dante's Inferno, and you can see how sculptures of people burning alive are falling, sculptures in midair. Look at that. See, and you can interpret that piece a number of ways. Torture, falling, trying to grasp hold, however you choose to assess Dante's Inferno. Okay, but I can tell you that her new piece, Lemonade, is heavily African. It's heavily cultural, it's heavily spiritual. And, for those who are aware of your spirit frequency, she's very clear on the power that she now possesses as a result of being clear about this maturation that she has embarked upon. I applaud her. I will say that, because I can tell you from my own personal journey, it was a grueling journey finding my way home, because you have to have a certain kind of filter. You have to have an ear filter, and you have to have a certain kind of sight. For those that are Christian, they say those with eyes to see and cannot see, and ears to hear and cannot hear. You need a certain kind of filter to be able to tread through that information. And there's a spirit of discernment that so many of us lack. And we unfortunately, unbeknownst to ourselves, just end up filing out into the space that we were given, as opposed to creating and beating a path to what we want to create. So no, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, there was some very good, there was a lot of good in what she produced in this new video album, Lemonade, right? And the journey of self-discovery for everybody is a little bit different. I did self-discovery for so long. I started with the Bible, right? And I evolved through a number of different channels. And religion, because we are spiritual people, we're drawn to a spirit frequency. So it's very easy for us to get caught up in a tradition of a religion, or inside of the repetition, or inside of the community, because we're social people. We're all about the community. But it's important to do the research, and it's important to try these things on internally as a spirit frequency, and looking at them with a degree of clarity to be able to filter through. Because even if you're using if you're just using the Bible, I'm here to tell you, it's in there. The coding is in there. The path to truth is in there. Some people will say that there is only one path to truth, and that is the Bible. And see, I disagree, because there's a thing that says truth is one, but there are many paths. So there are many paths that you can choose to arrive at truth and at clarity and at peace. There are many paths. So I don't do one extreme or another. I've tried it on my own personal self, and I can tell you that the journey, there are many ways to arrive at truth and at peace and at clarity and at spiritual elevation, at enlightenment. There are many paths. And the destiny, you'll realize when you arrive at that destiny, when it just doesn't matter anymore. When whatever is happening outside, you no longer have an external locus of control. Things outside don't stimulate you. Emotions, people's behavior, people's actions, what they say, how they treat you will no longer matter when you are clear on where you came from, who you are, the tools that you're working with, and the destiny that is before you. See, and that's the beautiful thing that she used when she used Yem and Yah, and she came through water, because water, even in the Christian faith, represents a transformation. And she did that first in the video, after she came through Oshun. Right, so it's really clear that you want to be aware of how you're moving and, you know, taking on certain spirits, because when you assimilate in more ways than one. It's not just behavior. You assimilate mental frequency, which is why oftentimes black people of color mistreat each other. We come up in a society where we're not welcomed, and then we assimilate to a circumstance that we didn't create for ourselves, and then we wonder, why do black people treat each other so bad? Why don't black women look out for each other? Why don't black men love and care for each other? Why are we so eager or so easy to take away hurt or harm or life from another? Why are we so jealous? Why are we... Well, there's so many things that comes with that whole assimilation piece. It's real important to be clear. What are you assimilating to? Don Pedro Ruiz says, what have you agreed to? What is your agreement? What have you agreed to accept in your life? And as a person of color, that has nothing to do with being against one or for another. I was born this way. I have to live this way for the duration of my life. I'm going to be comfortable in my skin. I'm going to walk in power and praise. And that is just who I am. And everyone gets to do that. You know, and, you know, coming into this your own, you know, there are many of us who aren't even for that journey. There are many people of color that you're going to have to look at them out of a skewed eye because they're not for you, because they choose to assimilate, and they're all right with the piecemeal. They're not all right with total elevation and enlightenment. They're not for that. They're not here for that. They are here for getting along to get along. That's what they're here for. And your enlightenment and the path that you choose to take of enlightenment and research and maturation and development is an offense to them. So what you can do is guard yourself from that and sit those people down and keep them away from you, and guard your spirit, guard your mind, guard your company, guard the frequency that you receive into your space, and be relentless about it. Be very clear, because even for the Bible, like I said, the clues are there. And I often use the Bible because it's the piece that people are most frequently aware of. I haven't been a Christian for many years. However, that is the fabric, and I will pay homage to the initial introduction to my maturation. And that was it. And without it, the bottom would have fallen out, because it's so. And you know, if you get so deep into it, you will discover it. You know, you will put on the full armor of the Lord. It says that we wrestle not against flesh and bone. Be very clear. This is not a spiritual. This is not a religious rhetoric. I'm not preaching. But this is the reflection of the poetry, Finding My Way Home. There is always going to be a spirit connection when it comes to people, of persons of color, and the frequency that we use when we choose to mature and find that enlightened path. There's always going to be spirit frequency in there. And I will tell you that all of this, you know, don't be afraid of, you know, they're telling you all of these different things about your culture to keep you from going over there to see about it. You know, you're worried about what it looks like because you have now been conditioned to what one type of beauty looks like, that you have an inability to see beauty in the Ethiopian women, or within the culture where they wear rings around their necks, where they wear very big headpieces and they shave their heads. You have an inability to see beauty in that because you have now been conditioned to see only one type of beauty. It just delved into so many facets. And if you really are looking for your journey, if you have your literary analysis, you can go through that video as if it was a book, and you can read through it, and you can hear through it, and you can see the expressions in a variety of different ways, because it's clearly her maturation. Yeah, I'm really proud of her. I'm really proud of anyone who is on their journey, because it is not easy. You won't always be the most popular. you probably will find yourself lonesome. So this is what you can do. You can go and connect with people with like frequencies. And sometimes you'll meet people who have a frequency that feels comfortable, and it'll feel comfortable for only a short amount of time. Those people are carriers. They will bring you through one set of lessons, and they say people are in your life. Grandma would say, Grandma's Lemonade, Grandma's Jules would say people are in your life for a reason or a season. So sometimes they're in your life for a season, and then they go bye-bye. And it's okay to let them go, because you must move on so that you can continue to get your lessons, so that you can continue to elevate. See, that's emotional. Wanting to hoard and hold on to people and possess them. We don't possess anyone. No one possesses us. We belong to the universe. And we are here in service of other spirit forms. I love you people. I really love you people. And I really want you to be clear that keep on. Just keep going. There's nothing but light at the end of the tunnel. And don't expect for people to reaffirm your journey. Go inside. It's in there. It's going to tell you. You will feel it. You will hear it. And everything is practice. Practice. The more you practice, the better you get. The more you practice, the better you will get. So practice using your tools. Do your research first. And then once you have your research, you have your tools, you equipped yourself, now you can go out there and start testing out your work. Because it's a blessing. Even the Bible says, greater works than these shall ye also do. I'm really impressed with Beyonce, the reach that she has to be able to affect the change and to touch the spirits and lives of these people. And it's such a powerful awakening. One, she even dove into the matriarchal tradition that we have as African people. Because women keep the balance. It's not a better or worse. It's not the battle of the sexes. It's you want the right tool for the job. And at a time, women had a faculty that would keep us in balance and keep our society in balance. So you really want to connect with that. There's been so much destruction under a patriarchal rule. Not a bad thing. That is a bad thing. There's been a lot of destruction. That is a bad thing under patriarchal rule. However, the sexes itself, male or female, you want the proper tool to do the job, and that's my bit for today. That's my soundbite. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you all again very soon. Peace and blessings and all my love. Namaste.